you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just making sure I give you the right one.
How's it going, Pat? Good, good. It's like, what time is it? Right after we start.
7:56.
Okay. It's like, this is this one. No, everybody's at work. It's very, how many servers do you have working for us? Can you describe all of us? Because, that's what we're saying when we're going to get rid of the home run people.
Oh.
Did you hear about the hot mic?
No.
Hot mic and the on call system?
No, I didn't.
I don't really read the news anymore.
Yeah.
What was it? It was the president switching or the home run people.
No.
I was like, this isn't us. Oh. That
I
was
did give you the wrong one.
okay.
You just want to get your steps in, right? That's right.
That would have been me that sitting there.
Oh.
Gotcha. I'm gonna bring home the assistant. That's okay.
So the other way around, so the opposite.
What country is he? We're good to go. So I'm just gonna let you bring the energy. So then you're gonna hand it off to Juan. He's gonna hand it off to me, and he's gonna do some Q&A. So I'm gonna have a handheld mic ready to go. And then if you're willing to help me with your mic and run around when he's doing Q&A, that would be awesome. So fantastic.
We're here. We can hit.
Yeah, I know. You'd be like, Heather.
Well, I know Heather, so in that situation, I'd be like, okay.
That's what I was creating my account.
Yeah, I'm actually take this up with me and record this. Okay. It's working. Yay! Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Denver, as they say. Hello, hello. Who has a smartphone here? Cool. There's a QR code. Let's hook up on LinkedIn so we can say hi to each other after this event, and you can tell me how great it was if you like. So I'll have a couple hundred new friends on LinkedIn. So my name is Heather Cook, and I am a principal manager for the Microsoft 365 community team. So I am so thrilled to be here with you today to kick the event off. And the confidence monitors are not on, by the way, which is fine, but just telling you, it's for Juan for next. I got to come in today. I wanted to say Caruana Gatimu was supposed to be here with you, and she had some things she needed to do on a personal level, so I am here. I work for her. I'm her replacement, although there's no replacing Caruana, as we know. Who's here for the first time? Welcome. Holy bananas. That's awesome. Okay. Welcome, welcome. That is great. Who's here long-time OG? Come on. Oh, yeah. All right. Lots of you. So, yeah, this is an amazing conference. I am super happy to be here. And my job every day is to get up and think about community and community programs. I just got diagnosed with gamer's thumb, which is super weird because I'm not a gamer, but I am a player in the game of life, folks. So I'm going to hold this right here. So anyway, yeah, I get up every day. I get to think about community programming and community initiatives and working on events like this with the amazing organizers of Adam and Jonathan. Can we give them a round of applause? They're amazing. The whole team. So many people work on these events together. So just a big thank you for that. I think a couple things for me that I like to start with and remind us is that the word community starts with unity. And it starts with all of you and I, right? Or me. And that's really important. We say over here for M365 that you are the best community in tech. And you are. You're sitting next to people who share the same passions that you have. So maybe right now, look left and look right. Say hi to somebody, please. Meet your friends. Yeah. You're going to be here for the next day, 2 days, right? So everybody here who just put their smartphone out and got your LinkedIn app out, you all have those. You can network here, make connections, think about things together, share your passions, share your stories. That's what these events are about. Obviously, technical skilling and learning as well. But this is about that human connection that we all love, and it's super important. So thank you for saying hello to each other. You see anything in here that resonates? We serve others, unite, engage, contribute, listen, get together, be of service, one for all, partake in, respect all, interact, notice others, offer thanks, care for, collaborate, assist in, pitch in, share in, encourage. And down at the bottom, all for one for all, right? I get to do this every day, and the most important thing that I think we can do is curate deep personal relationships with other people in this world. And why is that? Because connections are so important. When you need support in your life, when you need some resilience, when you need a burst of goodness, when you need to celebrate something, when you need to be in grief, when you are dealing with the things and the stuff of life, community and connection builds your resilience and makes you feel like you belong to something bigger than yourself, right? That's why we call it the best community in tech, because you all share with each other. You create blogs, you create videos. Who in here is a user group leader? Anybody? Heck yeah! Give it up for the user group leaders, people. Yeah? User group leaders do that outside of their day jobs, right? You do that in addition to. It's a volunteer thing, you know? Who in here is a Microsoft MVP? Yeah? All right, whoop, whoop. MVPs, they are have technical prowess, and they also contribute to the community. Most of the time you're watching them on YouTube, you're reading their blogs. They're also leaders of user groups. They're putting on local events like this as well, right? Give it up for our MVPs and regional leaders, whoop, whoop. Yeah, for sure. And I think when, we all have times of insecurity, when we're not quite sure what's going on with our families, our work, our world, our country, all of that. There are uncertain times. And when I think about that, what I do is I lean into my friends. I lean into my family. I lean into my community. When I've been fired from a job, that's happened to me. It's happened to probably everybody in this room at another time. I have leaned into my friends and family and colleagues for that next job, for that next opportunity, for that next thing, right? So community starts at home, I believe. It starts with knowing who your neighbors are. Do you know your neighbors? Are you a part of your chamber? Are you a part of the Kiwanis? Are you a part of, do you know your librarian? All of that stuff, right? Like people sometimes, they're like, Heather, you're all about the homegrown. I said, yes, I am. It starts in there, right? And this here is a community. You can go away this week having another 100 people in your life if you choose to, right? Or maybe just 2, right? Go deep with a couple maybe, right? You will find that communities are also where motions and movements begin, right? It's where we come together to do something great with each other. Somebody has a great idea, it becomes an initiative. Somebody has a big idea, it becomes a product, right? Somebody has another idea, it becomes this great new feature or a great new business that you have. How many here own your own business? Look at that, right? Where did those things come from? That was some big idea that you had, some feature or something that Microsoft wasn't building that you fixed, right? All of those things, those contribute to this beautiful community that we're in. And I just wanted to also say you belong here. We all belong here, everybody in this room. You belong to this community. And it's super important that we understand and believe that. I believe that, anyway. A couple of things that I run. The Global Community Initiative. So right now, on the Pacific time zone, there's a fellow, his name is Adam Salah, and he is giving a presentation right now about Microsoft Loop because he loves it. He started working on Loop when it started and when it came out. He's an educator. He works in a university. And every month, we hold a general session where somebody comes and talks about something they're passionate about. So he is doing that right now. And that is where these initiatives and these community calls and things that we are creating and crafting, hopefully for you, that you can dip into. The Global Community Initiative is all about anybody who wants to learn how to do event production. Anybody a budding event producer in here maybe wants to throw an event in their local community? Great. Come to the MGCI. We teach you how to do it, and we give you templates. It's true. Lastly, the tech community. Who's a part of the tech community? Who goes in and asks questions in the forums? Did you even know there's a Microsoft tech community? There is. Microsoft Tech Community, techcommunity.microsoft.com. You can go ask questions, you can go read blogs, you can find out about events. I invite you to come and be a part of the tech community. It is our online platform for you to connect. And lastly, a plug. Mondays at Microsoft. Every other Monday morning with Caruana, I get on for a half an hour and we talk about all things Microsoft. Because why? We couldn't keep up. And if we can't keep up with what's going on with AI and everything else, how are you supposed to do that? So what we do is we break down the news for 2 weeks at a time, every other Monday at 8 a.m. So to me, community isn't something that's nice to have. It's a powerful tool for healing each other, for celebrating with each other, for action, and for hope. So thank you for being a part of the best community in tech. Give yourselves another round of applause. Woo, woo! And it is my pleasure to bring up one of our corporate vice presidents for Microsoft Teams calling meetings and devices. Juan Rivera, please come up and join us, and he's your keynote speaker. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome.
You guys hear me? You guys hear me okay? Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today. All right. We switch to HDMI. Oh, HDMI 1. All right. The good old turn it off and on. All right, let's see. I think it might be. All right, awesome. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so today I think you guys gonna be in for a treat. I really want to talk about how we are driving innovation at Microsoft with AI. And I want to cover really 3 important topics. Number 1 is how are we using AI internally to be more productive, right? We often talk about how we're building all these tools, Copilot and so on, but how we, our engineering teams at Microsoft, are using AI, how we're inventing our tools that give us productivity gains. And I'll show you some of those internal tools that we use every day. Because, we talk the talk and walk the walk. We really are learning how to do this. Second is, I've been working on AI since GPT-3, even before that, and building a lot of solutions with these technologies and doing this at scale. We've learned a lot. And we made a lot of mistakes along the way. I want to share my 5 biggest lessons from doing this over the past few years. So the mistakes I made, the mistakes we made building these solutions, you don't have to make. You can learn from those and really think about how you approach those. And then finally, I really want to talk about what I'm most excited and the future of AI and how I see the evolution of it. And what it means to all of us, but also how you can be part of it. How do you actually think of in your business, with your customers, how you think of that evolution and help shape this future that we all sort of kind of trailblazing. And one of the reasons I'm most excited about being here and meeting all of you is because the communities was keep us all grounded to our realities, right? When we start building things, understand what really works, what resonates with the customers, what things work, don't work, is so important, that feedback loop from the community, so that as we continue to evolve our products, we're grounded to the reality. So, in fact, the most exciting part that I think about this section would be Q&A. We'll have some time at the Q&A. We can have a conversation. We can have some have the opportunity to ask questions about what's in your head, what's your concerns or questions, what's really striking your mind, that we can talk about that. And I'm sure we're going to take all that feedback, whether it's during the Q&A or after that, back to the team to make sure we stay aligned in how we continue to build our products. So who am I? My name is Juan Rivera, and I've been at Microsoft for about 4 years working on Microsoft Teams. I am what's called a COVID hire. So I was hired during COVID. I live in Miami, work remote. I tell the team that, if we can't make it work, if a Teams organization cannot make it work as a hybrid team, then what are we doing, right? So it's very important that we learn how to really make this work, right? Where there's a bunch of people in Redmond in the conference room, and I'm remote. And how can we get people to stay engaged, right? Well, you're not at a disadvantage because you're remote. So that's always very, very on my mind, is how do we make sure that we can continue to support this idea of people working in different locations. Before that, I worked at Citrix Systems for 20 years doing VDI and other things. All right. Okay, so why, this is kind of a bit of a silly question, but, even today, I see, some people who have embraced AI and some people who have not embraced AI yet. And I think the best comparison I can think of for all of you is in the 90s, when companies were debating, should we give employees access to the internet? Is that really a thing that we should be doing? And that was actually a real debate in the 90s. Should people have a browser? Oh, they're going to go and do online shopping and going to all this stuff. We shouldn't be giving them access to the internet. Now, nobody debates that every employee should have access to the internet. It's a given. But today we debate this question about AI. Hey, should we use these tools? What's the security with the productivity? Is this going to help? And I think that with anything, you need to start building a muscle on how to use these tools to get the most out of them. So the longer you wait for this, the greater of a disadvantage you are. And I think that's an important message to relay to peers in your organizations that might still be on the fence about this is, hey, you need to start learning how to do this. Not even at work, but in your daily lives. These things can really change the way you do things. So don't sit on the sidelines. This is really transformative for all of us, for our kids, for everybody. So, I think that's a good reminder of how people were thinking about the internet back in the 90s. With Microsoft, we're kind of evolving a lot of the thinking of how we're doing this. I remember the first time we tried summarizing a meeting, taking a transcript and summarizing the meeting with GPT-3. We were at awe. Oh my God, look at this. After a few months of looking at it, it's like, well, it's really not that good, But at first, we thought it was good. Well, problem number one was our transcripts were terrible. They were not that accurate. There was just a lot of mistakes. So if you're feeding garbage in, it's garbage out. But the models themselves were not that great. And we were sort of kind of guessing, what does it take to do this right? And there's no handbook to do this. And the models kept changing, and we didn't have access to GPUs, and there was always a fight between all the teams at Microsoft. I need more GPUs, and there was one guy handing GPUs to people. Oh, you get this much and this much. It's like a drug dealer at the time, handing access to GPUs. But over time, we started trying to really understand how these things work. And again, it was one of those things where it's like, there's no handbook. You just need to go and start discovering how these things work for you. And just like the journey that we've done at Microsoft, every company is going through this. And it's so important that you get engaged in this. You cannot just sit on the sidelines and start figuring these things out. One of my favorite things about AI is content generation. As an engineer, I have lots of ideas in my head, but turning those ideas into words in a way that reads correctly is actually a lot of work for me. But with Copilot, I can just kind of dump my ideas, whatever they come out, and then tell it to put it nicely for me. And now this energy that I used to spend to think about how to say this in a way that makes sense, now I have tools that help me do that. So content creation is much faster. The other day, I was having a conversation with finance, and I was actually upset about something. And I'm writing this email, and it's like, man, this just, looks angry. So I go to Copilot and say, Copilot, could you rewrite this in a way that sounds productive, constructive, and non-aggressive? And it would actually take all that and write it very nice. And then I send that email to, so sometimes, even when we write, we may not come the best way because we're upset about something. So this sort of becomes almost like a daily habit where you're constantly using these tools for everything that you're doing every day. And the more you do this, the better you get at instructing these tools to do what you need. At first, you may not get it right, and maybe you get a little discouraged. I encourage you guys, keep trying. These tools are really good when you tell them how to do things right. I'll say that we have in Microsoft we build a lot of Copilot features, but I'm actually very proud that Microsoft Teams Copilot and Recap has been one of the most successful ones. And the way I describe its success is how it has changed the behavior of people. See, before something like Copilot and Recap, you either attended all the meetings that you wanted to be part of, or you sit through a boring recording video to see what happened. So you had this FOMO of, hey, I need to be in all these meetings, and then you feel terrible because it's like, man, I spend all my day in meetings. Where do I actually do my work? I'm constantly one meeting after the next. It's draining. It's not enjoyable. But with Recap, now instead of FOMO, you get YOMO, the joy of missing out. Because you can now say, hey, there's a few meetings I have to speak. In fact, this is one of the criteria. They say, if in this meeting I have to speak, I have to say some things, I'll go. But if I'm in listening mode, I'm just consuming data, maybe there's a better way for me to consume that. Maybe I don't need to spend that hour in that meeting. I can do other things and then go to Recap and really get the things that matter most to me. And just like that, there's many people who have said to me, hey, Juan, this has changed the way I work for the better. I no longer dread my days where I'm having to go from meeting after meeting just to sit through a review and doing these things, where now, I just go to a handful of meetings that really matter, and the rest, I use Recap. You see, those are the things that are transformative because it's changing the way people work. And if you haven't tried Recap, my God, you're missing out on something amazing. I think that not only where it is today, but the work that we continue to do, for instance, like we talk about transcripts, making them better, where you can have a dictionary of the company, so it knows the words and terms of the company, so it's a lot more accurate. But it also takes on what's in the screen, what's being presented in the screen, and use that information so you can answer questions more accurately and do the summarization. I'll talk a little bit later about Facilitator, which is sort of the next evolution at the end. But this is something that it really is meant to change the way you work, the way you consume, and the way you collaborate. All right, I'm going to show you a really cool demo. One demo that I'm very proud of. So when you have global organizations like Microsoft, one of the challenges is language, right? And you know, while we would say that English is sort of the universal business language, you know, for most people it's still a challenge to speak in English or engage in English. And you know, there's certain organizations like the UN where you have these people doing live translation for the different people attending the meeting. So we built a technology that can do the live translation in real time, but more importantly, it actually clones the voice. So when you're speaking and your voice is getting translated, it sounds like you. And it does this with simply 3-4 seconds of your voice to build a profile to then clone your voice. I tried this, and the thing I was most amazed was that when I was speaking Spanish,